Oleksandr Usyk will take on Marco Huck in the quarterfinal of the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight version of the tournament. Now, as the number one seed in the draw, Oleksandr Usyk had the opportunity to pick who he wanted to fight out of all the other fighters in this quarterfinal. He elected to choose Marco Huck. I'm sure most of you are very familiar with both of these fighters, but for those of you who are not, let me just give you a quick rundown on their statistics. Oleksandr Usyk is the current WBO World Cruiserweight Champion. He is 30 years old. He stands 6'3" tall. He's a southpaw. He has a record of 12 wins, no losses, 10 knockouts. He is a extremely skilled boxer puncher, great combination puncher, great variety. He can box on the inside. He can box on the outside. He's got quick hands. He's got decent punching power. He's just a very, very impressive fighter all round. Very, very good movement. That's one of the signatures actually with Oleksandr Usyk, is he has great, great feet. This guy can really move around the ring, creates angles, so on and so forth. He is often compared to his countryman Vasyl Lomachenko in terms of boxing style. They're very similar. I believe Usyk is now working with Vasyl Lomachenko's father as his trainer. He has dispensed with James Ali Bashir as a trainer. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe Usyk used to train with Vasyl Lomachenko's father when he was an amateur. I could be wrong there, but I believe that is the case. So that's Oleksandr Usyk. Moving over to the other guy, Marco Huck. He was a long-reigning WBO Cruiserweight World Champion. He has a record, well, he stands 6'2" tall. He is 32 years old. He has a record of 40 wins, 4 losses, 27 knockouts, 2 of those losses coming by stoppage. So that is a total of, God, how many fights is that? 45 fights. Okay, 45 fights. He's only lost to 4. He is, how would I describe Marco Huck as a fighter? It's hard to, he has this style which has been developed in German boxing over the years, Marco Huck. A style which is similar to the style of a Arthur Abraham, similar to the style of a Felix Sturm, so on and so forth. They have this style where they cover up for long stretches of rounds. They concentrate on throwing a heavy jab, and they allow their opponent to get shots off with this, you know, and block the punches with a very tight guard. Then they retaliate in spurts. I don't even know how to describe that style, but it is common in German boxing for fighters to fight in that particular way. Marco Huck is, I believe, of Serbian extraction. He might have even been born in Serbia, but he's certainly been raised and had most of his boxing career in Germany. So, yeah, that's Marco Huck's style. You've all seen his style. Again, 45 fights, 40 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. The 2 times he was stopped were by Steve Cunningham. Early on in his career, Steve Cunningham stopped him in the 12th round. And the second time he was stopped was in the 11th round against Krzysztof Glowacki, the Polish fighter, in a fantastic fight. That's one of the best fights in the cruiserweight division for the past few years. Marco Huck actually dropped Glowacki early on in that fight. Glowacki came back and stopped Huck late in a dramatic ending. So, yeah, that's Marco Huck. You're both very familiar with these 2 guys. Now, for Oleksandr Usyk to pick Marco Huck as his first fight is understandable, because Marco Huck really is the biggest name in the competition other than Usyk himself. And at the same time, Marco Huck is probably one of the most beatable guys in the competition. So Usyk really, that's a masterstroke for him to pick the biggest name who's also potentially the weakest guy or the least risky guy, because Huck has seen better days. You know, Huck's last fight, he was comprehensively outboxed by Miris Bridis, another one of the guys who's in this competition. And, you know, Huck also, again, lost to Glowacki not too long ago. And he's just been showing a lot of signs of wear and tear, Marco Huck. He's not the quickest guy on his feet, Huck. He's always been kind of slow on his feet. But he does have decent hand speed when he lets his shots go. His combinations can come out quite fast. So, there you have it. There are the 2 combatants in this particular matchup. Naturally, me and I'm sure most of you are going to be picking Oleksandr Usyk to win this fight. I don't see Marco Huck winning. I don't see what he brings to the table. that will be able to deal with Oleksandr Usyk. Even though Usyk is inexperienced, he's only had 12 fights. Marco Huck has had, what, 45 fights or whatever it is, 46 fights. I just think that Usyk's ability will be more than enough to overcome Marco Huck's experience, you know. And Marco Huck is a guy who obviously has learned certain things over the years in terms of tricks of the trade and whatnot in ring craft, but his style hasn't developed that much over the years. You know, some guys' styles really develop. Bernard Hopkins is a perfect example of somebody whose style developed tremendously as his career progressed. In the early days, Bernard Hopkins was really just a come-forward slugger. And he developed into a cerebral master boxer later on in his career. Marco Huck really hasn't developed into a cerebral master boxer at all. His basic style is the same. I mean, it's changed a bit since his early days, but it's pretty much the same as it used to be. That style which is common in German boxing, where you just cover up, let the other guy throw his shots while you're throwing a jab, then come out with these fast flurries, particularly at the end of rounds, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I will definitely be picking Usyk. But let me know what you guys think of this fight. Is it a good fight? Are you disappointed that Usyk has picked Marco Huck to fight in his first fight? Or is it understandable? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.